This is my 5 year lifting transformation journey from ages 14 to 19. You'll notice here that I put a asterisk saying 4 because of COVID. So this was partially during COVID times, so at least one of these years, well, not at least, sorry, just one of these years I was just not really lifting, which is why I have that asterisk there. But anyway, let's get started. So, what was my starting point? Like I said, I started at 14 years old, which is like when I just started high school. I think it was roughly September of 2019, and you can take a look of how I used to look here.
Nicely done. You said that was awesome. Nice celebration. Let's try a cross court this
Okay, so as you can see, I started out very skinny. I had no history of weightlifting or strength training ever because my parents never did. My mom never lifted, my dad never lifted. No one in my family ever lifted. Well, that's not true, but I only found that out later on. My parents never lifted. They thought it was kind of dangerous, and I was actually kind of discouraged from lifting because my parents thought it would, like, stunt my growth. Like all those propaganda things you hear about lifting, like it stunts your growth, it will damage your bones, stuff like that. My parents thought I'd like end up hurting myself or breaking something, so they just never wanted me to lift weights. So all my physical activity came from tennis pretty much, and because of that, I just never had like a very muscular physique. Because like if you're not strength training and only doing cardio, of course you're only gonna have like a slim, like skinny build. So like I was very skinny, as you can see here, small wrists, very small frame, but like you can probably see a little bit under the shirt. But like I had a flabby stomach still. I wish I took a picture of how I looked shirtless back then, but honestly, I was too embarrassed and too ashamed to ever take a shirtless picture, which is like something I sorely regret now because I wish I could see how I looked back then. But like you can see, I'm like very skinny, but still I had a belly, like not like a crazy belly or anything, but like I was definitely skinny fat, even though I was 120 pounds or something. And on top of that, I just never wanted to be muscular because I always thought it was kind of weird. I had this mentality back then. Like I think a lot of kids had this, where it's like you like don't want to be a stereotypical like masculine guy. You like try to go the opposite direction just to be different, and like that was kind of me. I was like, no, I don't want to be muscular because like that's like too stereotypical. I want to be like skinny and like stuff like that. So like I always used to think like that, and then I was always very naturally weak. I couldn't do a push up until seventh grade, and even then it was like a pretty miserable push up. Like I remember I took a fitness test in sixth grade in my middle school, my old middle school before I transferred to a new middle school, and like we took the push up test. Everyone got like most of the boys there got like at least like five or something. I literally failed the first push up. I couldn't push myself back up. That's the level of strength I started at. And obviously, if I can't do a single push up, I obviously can't do any pull ups. Sorry. And you can note here, I have a very underdeveloped back. There's no V taper here. It is simply a straight line, and honestly, if I took off the shirt, you'd see it was like this, and then it went like out a little bit, which is crazy for someone that's skinny. So this was my starting point. As you can see, I clearly had below average genetics. So then, why did I get into the gym? It was actually because of my gym teacher in freshman year of high school. Because I honestly like we first took this one class in gym that you take as a freshman called Freshman Foundations of Fitness, and the guy teaching this was this insanely like jacked guy. Like I think he wasn't tall. He was like 5'5" or something, but he was like imagine like 160, 170 pounds, but like ripped, like lean abs and everything, and like veins and everything, like full bodybuilder type. And like he really talked about like getting into the gym and like eating clean and like doing like that military style stuff. He was very masculine. He actually introduced us to Joe Rogan and Jocko Willing. He's a based guy. I'm not gonna lie. It's the type of guy like now looking back, he was a very good influence. Like he was showing us like Jocko Willing podcasts about discipline and like Joe Rogan podcasts about like eating meat and stuff like that. It was like interesting stuff. And like I would put a picture of him, but I can't find one. Also, like I don't want to like just reveal him without. I'm not sure how these kinds of things work, so I'll just rather just play it safe and not reveal his face or anything. But I was in this one gym class in second semester after freshman foundations of fitness called Advanced Strength, which is just basically lifting. And the only reason I entered that class is because you could choose. You could choose like badminton, volleyball, advanced strength. Like, and a lot of my friends chose like badminton and volleyball because like that's where like you have like the group fun. But because of how interested my gym teacher got me into the gym, I ended up choosing advanced strength and wanted to get more into lifting. And then some of my friends, eventually my friend group started going to the gym after school. So instead of like playing Fortnite or something, I'd usually just like go along with them, and like it was fun. It's a good way to, build connections. So my first day in the gym, I'll be honest with you, I had no clue what I was doing whatsoever. I did no research before, and I just kind of like went in and just like kind of like saw other people and just like kind of followed them. So like, a bunch of my friends were just standing in front of the mirror, just curling dumbbells, like not even anything else, just standing there and curling dumbbells. That was all they were doing. So I just copied them, and I just remember the first time I ever dumbbell curled, I curled 7.5 pounds in each hand, which is my first ever time. And I remember that was actually kind of hard. I did like 10 reps, and I was like, pretty tiring. So that can tell you how weak I was. And I also tried benching for the first time. I'm pretty sure this might have not have been the first day, to be honest. It might have been like the first week or something, but I tried benching. And I got 50 pounds, but I say kind of because, for a bench press, you're supposed to touch your chest and then push up. I didn't know that was a thing because I had no clue about the form of a bench press. So I went like halfway down. Like I was not close to my chest. I went halfway down and pushed back up. And like even that was hard with 50 pounds. So that can also tell you how insanely weak I was and that I'm definitely not built for strength whatsoever. I tried to do this like dumb dead hang challenge and I failed miserably. I literally got like I think I couldn't hold on for like more than like 5 or 6 seconds, to be honest. And like some people were like holding on for like a minute and I was like, whoa, that's crazy. Like they're holding on for a minute on a dead hang, and it's just because my back was so underdeveloped and so were my arms, I couldn't hold on for that long. Like it's like I couldn't bear it. Like 5 seconds in, I just dropped. And like I was the first person that dropped, which is kind of embarrassing. So just to clarify, none of us knew what we were doing. We just like did random stuff. We bicep curled, we did bench press, we did dead hang challenges, and like we were just like messing around. It's just like it's always fun to have friends to do like just mess around and do dumb things with, even if you don't know what you're doing exactly. That's part of just like learning. And like obviously now I know what to do, and now I'm like a beginner's fitness channel. But like 5 years ago, I had no clue. I was probably even more clueless than you were. I didn't even know anything about anything about in terms of lifting. So, I would say enjoy those times while you can. It's always more fun to just like do something random and dumb than to just like focus fully on just like okay, optimization, this, that. I somehow ended up gaining like 10 pounds in the first month, which is kind of crazy looking back because it wasn't even fat. Like I literally just like got bigger in the first 10 months. And I just think that's because I was so understimulated with the gym because I never did any strength training in my life that the first month I was going every day after school, so 5 days a week. And like well technically twice a day too because I was doing it during gym class and also after school. The overstimulation somehow just made me gain like 10 pounds in the first month, and I wasn't even like fat. So I went from like 120 pounds to like 5'7", 5'8", which is pretty skinny, to like 130, which is still like, kind of skinny. So then let me summarize freshman year of high school. So this is 2019 to 2020. So fall 2019 to spring 2020, right around when COVID started. So I didn't honestly make a lot of muscle progress, but I did make good progress in strength. And I think the main reason for this is because I was still going through puberty, and I was 14 years old. So it's like I wasn't really primed for muscle growth yet, but I was primed for strength growth. I went from starting with 50 pounds in September, but that was like a half rep, to like, fully doing 115, like touching my chest and going up in March, like right before COVID. So that was good progress for me. I was very surprised about that, even though I didn't see much of a difference in my physique. Seeing the strength gain was like it was motivational for sure, and like I was like, wow, I like basically almost tripled my well, not almost tripled, over doubled my bench press while getting better form and doing like double the range of motion, which is pretty crazy. Sadly, I never took like progress pictures until like the third year, which is a regret I have. Like I said, I wish I took progress pictures of like my body shirtless at this time, so I could look back and see how much progress I made. So that's why a piece of advice I always give to you guys that are starting out, even if you don't like how your physique looks, that's only more of a reason to take a picture, because one day you'll be in a position like where I am and be like, why didn't I take a picture of myself? And like even now I'm getting sad thinking about it because I'm never gonna be able to see that, how much progress I truly made. I can only guesstimate by seeing pictures of myself in t-shirts and sleeveless shirts, which is not the same obviously. And like during freshman year, I only trained chest, biceps, and like sometimes shoulders, but it was mainly chest and biceps. It was like my day was pretty much bench press and bicep curls. So like typical gym bro stuff. I followed very bad lifting advice. I followed V Shred's advice. I followed like all these like kind of like scam side of YouTube advice. But it worked because I was new. And the truth is, if you're new, anything works as long as you're just like picking up weights and putting them down. Then it works. I tried to make my friend Monas go with me, but he was literally busy faking emergencies. Like I remember, this is so funny. So he was in my math class, and like I told him in math class, okay, you're coming to the gym with me because Monas was even skinnier than I was. He was like probably 5'5", like not even 100 pounds, like skinny, skinny, right? And I was like, okay, you're gonna come to the gym with me. I was like, there's no choice. You're coming to the gym with me after school. He's like, okay, fine. And then like right before eighth period, right before the last class, he texted me like, bro, sorry, there's like an emergency, like a family emergency. Like I can't go, man. I'm so sorry. I'm like, oh, okay, it's fine, it's fine. And then just to check, I go onto Fortnite on my phone while I'm in the gym, and guess what? He's online on Fortnite playing like squads or something. I was like, bro, come on. Like obviously now, if you know who Monas is, Monas has his own channel. He's like made a lot of lifting progress now because of certain events that like basically were like his Black Swan event and got him into the gym. But like back then, you could not make that guy go to the gym. He hated it. So it's kind of a complete 180 he's made. And these pictures kind of just reflect like the mindset I had and like the knowledge I had in terms of lifting. So these are like very like beginner mindset things, but I would not follow this advice at all that's listed here. Just like what I was just thinking. So like this one, I had an idea where I was like, okay, I'll do 2 sets of an exercise for 10 reps for muscle growth, 2 sets of 6 reps for muscle growth and strength, and then 2 sets of 2 reps for strength. And I was like, I was thinking of like rep ranges and all that, but I was like kind of doing it wrong. And I was like, okay, so for upper, I will do bench press and overhead press, and for lower, I'll do squat. And as you can see, there's already a flaw in there. Like in an upper day, I should have some like back movements, probably, and some bicep movements, like some pull movements. These are all push movements. And then for lower, I should probably have some hamstring and glute movements, like a deadlift or an RDL or something, but I don't, and maybe some calves, but I didn't. This one was another thing I was thinking of. I was thinking of like time under tension because like for some reason everyone was talking about time under tension, which is honestly not as important as you think it is. But like I thought it was like really important. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna do like slow squats, like not like I was gonna do like very slow squats, like 10 seconds each rep, and make it 60 seconds each set, basically. And like I was thinking stuff like that. I had this like bench improvement protocol that I saw in like some like Instagram post, which by the way, you never trust Instagram posts and how to like actually plan a workout. It's like okay, so I'll do 10 sets of 3 reps of 65, and then I'll do 10 sets of 3 reps of 70 the next week, then 75, and this is my goal to get me to 100 pounds on bench press, which is like a big goal I had during freshman year, which as you can see I did end up hitting. But it was not because of this, it was just because I was going to the gym. And then I had like all these things that I got from the V-Shred video, like carb cycling, doing hit cardio 3 days a week, and like it was pretty funny because like V-Shred said that if you do 15 minutes of hit cardio 3 times a week, it basically just burns fat like forever and over. And I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna burn fat forever and over. That's gonna be so cool. Um, just a bunch of stuff. Heaviest sets first. I still kind of abide by this philosophy a lot, which is like a good philosophy to have. But like most of these, I just learned from like a V-Shred video, which is like I just kind of took as gospel and just like assumed it was the truth. And then around March of 2020, COVID hit. I remember I was in the school bus with my friend Tristan, and everyone was talking about like, I think they're gonna extend our spring break. I think it's starting early. I'm like, wow, really? Because it was like early March, and spring break is supposed to end like April 2nd. So I was like, wow, we're gonna get like a 3 week spring break. That's insane. And as you all know, the spring break never ended. It went on for the rest of the year. It went on until basically like fall of 2021, pretty much for us. So that meant no more gym because I didn't have a home gym. I was living in an apartment at the time, like a condo. So like there was no room for a home gym. The best I could do was push-ups and like calisthenic stuff maybe. So in terms of progress, I looked almost exactly the same, but I just had some more chest and bicep. So like I guess you can see if you really like squint your eye, my arm is a little bit bigger and like my chest does stick out a little bit more, but like still no V-taper because I wasn't training back, as you can see in my previous workout plan. There was no back training, so my back never grew. Still had the belly. I probably was 135 pounds, and I was 5'8" here, and I was very obsessed with like fitness YouTube and like V Shred and like watching fitness content, which is like honestly the biggest waste of time if you ask me. But there's like some progress here. It's honestly nothing crazy because, like I said right here, I did not make much muscle progress. It was mainly strength progress. So that is reflected here. So then, COVID year 2020 to 2021. So I said I could have done like push ups and like calisthenic stuff, but I didn't because I was lazy. I did almost no physical activity, to be honest, throughout the entire quarantine. Excuse me. I watched Greg Doucette and Jeff Nipper videos all day. I watched like science-based fitness videos and like I actually remember this is kind of a dumb story, but there was this one guy who graduated from my high school who did his bachelor's in kinesiology and he was like selling his own fitness program and he was like a fitness influencer and I would just like randomly argue with him in Instagram DMs about like okay, but this is not optimal. This is not optimal. You should like do this and like daily undulating periodization, like all this stuff and like it didn't even like matter because like at the end of the day the guy was clearly in shape and I was not, so I'm not sure why I was arguing with him, but it was just funny. I would also just get into YouTube comments arguments in the fitness community, which is like the cesspit of YouTube pretty much, and I just argue like this guy's not natural, this guy's not natural. I'd like go on like David Lade's YouTube and be like, whoever thinks this is natural is dumb, and just start like an argument on there. I just did stuff like that. So like, as you can see, I had so much knowledge. I generally knew like almost everything during this year, and like I took no action. I didn't do anything. That it just proves. That's why I said in my previous video like I don't like giving too much information to you guys as beginners because it's not going to help you. You're honestly better off having less information and just like focusing on like the 80% that actually makes the difference. The only extras I did was sometimes with my family, I'd open this Teaching Men's Fashion video, which is like the 7 minute workout to gain muscle, which I knew with my knowledge wasn't optimal, but I just did it just to get exercise in. And like, I did it like twice a week or something, so it wasn't even like that often. But surprisingly, because of my metabolism, I'm not like, I'm kind of like an ectomorph, ish. So like, I only gained like 10 pounds. It wasn't even like fat. I just like looked, it was like puberty weight pretty much. It was like just me putting on 10 pounds from puberty. It wasn't from like any weight, actual like, um, what's the word? On purpose weight gain, I guess. I was obsessed with calisthenics transformations. I wanted to come back to school in junior year like ripped as fuck. So I'm trying not to swear as much. I just realized. Sorry, but I want to come back to school with like an insane body. I want because I was like 5'9" at this point. I wanted to be like 140 pounds shredded, which, as you know, my goal is now to be 185. So you can see the big jump there. And back then, I wanted to be like insanely ripped, like 6% body fat, like veins shredded, like everything. So, um, as you'll see, that did not happen. This is a clip of me um, during COVID.
저희 취업해도
As you can see, I was definitely heavier and bigger than I was in the previous pictures. If you compare this to like this, you can see like if you look at the legs and like my arms, it's definitely bigger. I'm definitely bigger. I'm like probably 20, 25 pounds heavier. But it was from puberty. It wasn't from my own muscle building, really. Okay, so then we get into year three, which I once again put in parentheses because it's technically 2 years since COVID took a year off. So this was junior year of high school. This is when I actually started like lifting and like like actually doing stuff. I went to a push pull leg split right away, which was like a big mistake, which I would never recommend doing if you're a beginner, especially this early. Like this is year three for me or year two for me, but I'm still a beginner to be honest. Like usually for most people, the first like 2 years are kind of a waste, and if you don't know what you're doing. So I was on a push pull leg split. I would not recommend this. This was kind of a mistake to be honest. But I went from a 105 bench to a 140 bench in 1 month, which is kind of insane. That I gained basically 30 or 35 pounds on my bench in 1 month, which was September of 2021. So I remember thinking like, wow, this is kind of insane. This is because like I was like at the peak of my hitting puberty, so like I was like basically exploding in strength. My squat went from 125 to 175. I gained 50 pounds in my squat. I had a consistent gym partner that I went after school with. Um, I always talked more about the gym in front of girls just to try to riz them, but it obviously never worked because you don't talk about the gym to make friends or get girls. That's just not what you do. I did pull days, but I mainly did them for biceps, and I only did like one stupid machine for my back, which is like this one like assisted pull up machine. Wasn't even assisted pull ups because like you're basically sitting down, just like pulling. It's a lat pull down machine pretty much, and like I could barely do one pull up, and it was kind of a cheat pull up where I have to start from the floor, if you know what I mean, because like the bar was not that high. I didn't have to jump up to reach the bar. I could just like stand and reach it. So I'd be on my tiptoes and just start doing a pull up from there, which is kind of cheating. So like that's why I said barely one pull up. This is when I started using the Strong app. If you don't know, the Strong app is basically this one app that tracks your workouts for you. So you can see here, um, October of 2021, I hit 120 pounds for 7 reps, which is actually 144, which is like pretty crazy for me. Squat, I did 125 for 10, which was also pretty crazy for me. Biceps curls, I did 50 for 11. This was like the assisted pull up, like lat pull down, whatever machine. So as you can see, I was actually starting like to record my workouts and actually do stuff. So yeah, and in terms of Strong, if you want to buy my course, which comes with 3 free workout templates, just for you along with the course, then click the first link in the comments. This is me benching 135 in September of 2021. Okay, you can probably see here that it looks like... Oopsies. That was too far ahead. Okay. It kind of looks like here that, how would I even... It looks like right here that, like, my spotter basically picks up the weight for me, but I swear to God, he does not. Like, I have no reason to lie to you anymore. Like, maybe back then if he spotted me and actually lifted, I would have had a reason to lie, but now it's 3 years ago, almost 4 years ago. I have no reason to lie about this, but like I actually did hit the 135. It was just him like not knowing how to spot. He touched the weight. Yeah, that right there. He does not actually put any resistance up to actually help me lift the weight. It was just him holding it in case because he didn't know how to spot. But yeah, my first shirtless picture. This was in April of 2022. I just turned 17 years old. I wanted to be. I got the idea of like, okay, um, I want to have a shirtless picture. So then you can see here, there's like a bit of bicep, a bit of chest, not much to be honest. It's honestly not much results for like 2.5 or basically 1.5 years with COVID of actually going to the gym. I had no visible muscle in t-shirts or clothes. If I wore a t-shirt, I just disappear in the t-shirt still because one of the biggest things that's noticeable in a t-shirt is wide shoulders and the wide back, and I had neither of those back then. It was just the biceps and chest, which is not as noticeable in a t-shirt. Still could barely do one pull-up. Like I said, non-existent lats. It's like there's like literally nothing there. I thought spamming the back machine would help, but like it's not because what really helps is doing pull-ups, which I was not doing. Because I was like, okay, I can only do like not even one pull-up, so I'll just do the back machine until I can do my weight, and then I'll go to pull-ups. But like that was the mistake. I should have just done pull-ups in the beginning, just done negatives and like resistant band pull-ups. This is another shirtless picture. I took this in, I think, June of 2022. So I was still 17 years old. This is the summer after junior year. You can see, like, it's like, for 2 years of lifting, it's like honestly, like, not that impressive. Like I said, I don't have the best genetics, and also I didn't have the best plans and best knowledge. So you can see, like, there's like barely any shoulder. My arm is pretty skinny. The back looks like it's there, but that's because I'm lifting my arm up like this, which it's actually not there if I just like stand normally. And you're like, yeah, I lost some fat here, so it's like I used to be fatter than this, but like now I have like kind of a flat stomach. So you can see it's like clearly a person with like below average genetics if this is 2 years of lifting experience. And honestly, I was on a roll. Like, let me say one more thing here. I was like in my peak self improvement era. I was like I was tracking water intake. I was drinking like a gallon of water a day. I was meditating twice a day. I was journaling. I was getting morning sunlight, like Dr. Andrew Huberman said. I did all this stuff, and I was also going to the gym. I'm not going to the gym. At this point we moved into a house, so I had a basement gym, and I was working on the basement gym 6 days a week. I was doing all these things. I was watching Hamza videos and everything, and then destruction, disaster happened. I got a big dental surgery. Basically, I had this wisdom tooth stuck underneath my gum. So basically, they like drilled through it, like my jawbone, I think, a little bit, and then pull out the wisdom tooth. And then that got me out of the gym for over a month because, like, you can see here, you can see how swollen my jaw was. If you like cover one half, cover the right side of this, that's my normal face. This side is the swollen side where I got my wisdom tooth removed, and like it looks like I have a Giga Chad jaw, which is like kind of funny. But like this took me out of the gym for the rest of the summer. I made no more progress, and by the time I was recovered, senior year of high school already started. So year four, once again asterisk because it's actually year three, including COVID. This is senior year of high school from 2022 to 2023. I started taking daily progress pictures at this point, and I started tracking my weight every morning, which is something I never used to do. So here I was 5'10" and exactly 150 pounds, which is like, that's funny because they're like the same numbers, but whatever. I still made no progress though, because this is me. This was a picture in August 2023, and this was, no, sorry, this is a picture of August 2022. And then this picture was August. Wow, I cannot speak. Okay. This was August 2022, and this was February 2023. There we go. So basically, 6 months later, is that 6 months? That's 5 or 6 months, yeah. No progress, as you can see. If anything, I look a bit worse for some reason. Maybe that's just the angle, to be honest. But like, I was still 150 pounds. I benched to 165 now, which is like, I finally benched above my body weight. I squatted about 190 to 200 pounds, and I could maybe do 2 pull-ups, but I never trained them, so I never found out. As you can see, the biggest lacking here, more than the arms, is actually the back. It would actually be a lot better if it's like I had my waist here, my back went out more. That would have helped more. And like, by the way, here I was almost 18 years old. Like, I'm like almost an adult, and this is how I look. That's the genetics I have. So like, you can see here, it's like not the best genetics once again. Then summer of 2023. So this is about July of 2023. So like from February to July, that's about 5 more months. And as you can see, I took the bulk a bit too far because I wasn't really bulking. I was just like eating a ton of fast food and stuff. And my grandma's also home this summer. And if you know how grandmas are, they basically force feed you. So my grandma was pretty much like, okay, take more rice, take more this, take more that. It also didn't help that like me and Modest, even though we went to the gym sometimes, we'd also go to Popeyes like or Raising Cane's like all the time, which I was probably like averaging like 5,000 calories a day or something, like something crazy, right? And like I got fat. I got to 165 pounds, and then if I had to guess, I'm like 22, 23% body fat here. And I also hurt my wrist around the beginning of the summer, so I wasn't even lifting as often. I couldn't bench or like do like pull ups or bicep curls or anything like that. So like basically no gym, fast food, calorie surplus, like probably like a 2,000 calorie surplus, and like this is what happens to you. But like for some reason, I didn't realize that I was fat in this at this point, and I used to like flex this weight gain to friends. Like, look how much I bulked. I bulked like 15 pounds doing this, and like it was dumb. So then we get into year five, asterisk year four because of COVID, which is freshman year of college, so which is the last year. So the year of 2023 to 2024. This is September 2023. I finally realized I got fat. You can see the video of me taking a video of myself, obviously. This is like the video I took to like signify my start of the cut. And as you can see, it's like no muscle definition, like pretty much nothing. I look a lot bigger, obviously, than I did in the previous one. If I compare it to this, I'm definitely bigger, and you could argue better, but not really. So this is when I started going to like the gym consistently, even though I had my sprained wrist. I just didn't train chest or biceps. I just did like the lat pull-out machines and assisted pull-ups, negative pull-ups, and a lot of leg training. And then I also coupled that with a strict keto diet. I just went pretty much no carb. It was mainly meat and fruits, and like you'll see that I actually made a lot of progress. And yeah, as you can see, not in the best shape. Then we get to October of 2023. I started losing some weight. I'm probably 5 to 7 pounds down. I think I'm about 155 pounds. It's actually a bit more than 5 to 7 pounds. I'm 155 pounds here, probably like still 21% body fat or something. I started getting really serious with the gym. Started actually training pull-ups and like doing like negatives. What helped me most was actually doing negative pull-ups. That actually will help you more than you will believe. And I started training chest around the end of October too. So this is how I was looking in October. Then November, I make a pretty big change because I go down like I think 10 or 12 pounds like by the end of November. So right before Thanksgiving, this is how I looked. As you can see, if you compare this in October to this in November, it's a big difference. Like sure, you could say I'm small and I am, but like Look at the waist difference. I went from like I think a 31.5 here or 32 to a 27.5 here. So I was like small waist and like I was I think 142 or 143 pounds like light for my height, which is 5'10", and like if I had to guess like 16% body fat. This is the first time I ever had any V taper. Like you can see here, there is a V taper. And it's not just because I'm holding the camera up. It's like if you compare this picture to this, you can see the difference. There's definitely a difference. And I felt like agile. I felt athletic. I felt like I could run. I felt like I could do pull-ups finally. And I finally, during Thanksgiving break, I hit 8 pull-ups, which is for me, for someone that was always stuck to like one pull-up or 2 pull-ups and was never good at pull-ups. This was kind of crazy. So here's that. So as you can see, I got a lot better at pull-ups during this time. Then December 2023, this is, in my opinion, the start of my peak physique. I was probably around 150 to 152 pounds here, so 10 pounds heavier than this. But also keep in mind, I was on vacation here. This is actually in Punta Cana, Dominican Republic. So like, I'm 150 to 152 pounds, including bloat from like eating like more carbs than usual and eating like restaurant foods all the time and stuff like that because it was an all inclusive place. So like, in reality, without the bloat, I'm probably like 147 or something. But like, as you can see, I have visible muscles on me, which I never had before. Like you can see here, there's like visible back muscles, arm muscles, shoulder, tricep. This is the first time I was shirtless at the beach and actually felt good about being shirtless. I'd always wear a swim shirt before, but this is the first time I actually took off my shirt like voluntarily and was like, yeah, I look good. And like if you compare this to like once again, this, it's a big difference. As you can see, it's definitely a big difference that I've made. So here you can see the visible muscle. This is the start of my peak physique, really. And I was still 18 years old at this time. February 2024, I bulked a bit more. I got to 152 pounds, but with no bloat. So in reality, I gained like 5 pounds since December, which is like a pretty clean bulk. I still have like almost visible abs. You can kind of see the outline of abs there. You can see the chest separation. You can see the V taper. You can see shoulders coming out. And like, if you compare this picture, once again, I keep doing this. Compare this to this. These are exactly 1 year apart. This is February 2023, and this is February 2024. You can see the difference. I took this picture and I was literally in shock, like, wow, I made this much progress in 1 year. That's kind of crazy. So that really shows that, like, if you start training properly and eating properly, even if you have bad genetics, you can still make good progress. And I kind of enter a downfall era, which, is kind of surprising because it started once I got a buzz cut. Usually, once you get a buzz cut, is when you start to lock in even more. And that's why I assume. That's why I got the buzz cut. I was like, okay, I look like this right now. Once I get the buzz cut, I'm gonna look even better. But then I didn't. I just got more complacent because for some reason, I assumed since I had the buzz cut, I just would look better without doing anything. So I just like kind of stopped eating so clean and stopped going to the gym so often. Then by April, you can see I'm less lean if you compare it to this. I'm definitely less lean. Less lean. I have more love handles around this area. Like there's not as much muscle definition on the shoulders compared to these. Oh, oops. And then I wasn't even going to the gym as often, like I said, or eating as clean. I was ordering DoorDash more often. I was eating Chick-fil-A a lot, like stuff like that, just like unhealthy foods. I have a cold, sorry. And then we get to May. It's mainly the same issues as April, but I came home this time from school because the semester ended, which also makes things worse because like eating food at home for me is harder to stay healthy on than eating food at a dorm. And like my family, especially my sister, noticed the weight gain since winter because the last time they saw me, I look like this now when I came in May, but the last time they saw me was me looking like this, right? So they could definitely see the difference. And like my sister just like kind of like make jokes about it sometimes, just like random jokes. It wasn't like anything deep, but like it was like clear that like they could see that I had gained weight, and they just never really said anything, but they definitely noticed. So you can see I look bigger, but I'm not lean or anything. If I had to guess, I'm like 19% body fat or something, Then we get to August 2024, and yeah, you can see that waist right there. I thought I got as fat as August 2023, like this one. I thought I did, but I actually didn't. Because in reality, a lot of it was actually bloat. Like this waist you're seeing was actually mainly bloat from fast food and eating carbs. And I lost like all of this bloat in like 2 weeks of clean. I meant to say eating. Like you'll see, 2 weeks later, I get to this, which you can see the difference. This, the waist here, and the lack of, I mean, there is a V tier, but just because of the big waist versus this. Okay. Personally, I think this is my best physique. I went from a 32 here, sorry, a 32-inch waist here to a 28.5 here. And once again, I'm 155 pounds again. So if you want to compare this 155 pounds to this 155 pounds, I'm 155 pounds in both. And once again, it's like, I think about 11 months apart or 12 months apart. So you can see I'm the same weight as this picture, but I'm leaner. That means I gained muscle. So then I lost, like I said, almost 4 inches off my waist in about 2 to 3 weeks, which is kind of crazy, but it was all because I just cut down my carbs and like, drank more water and started eating cleaner and less fast food, and that's what it did to me. So that was nice, and I think this is definitely my peak physique. If you want to compare, if you think February 2024 was my peak physique instead of September, these are other pictures of me in February where you can see I look lean, but I look kind of skinny. You can see in this one especially. I look kind of skinny. You can see here there's like a bit of ribs showing, so because I was pretty skinny. I was 150 pounds, like I said back then. And then these are other pictures I had of me in September, like a few months ago. So as you can see, if you had to compare these two side by side, I'm leaner in this one, yeah, but I think I look better in this one, if I had to guess. Like, I look bigger, my back is bigger, my arms are a little bit bigger. So, like, you know, I still think that September was my true peak. And then we get to now, December. This is the most recent progress picture I took back in December. I was as heavy as I was back here. Same heaviness, I was 165 once again. But I'm definitely leaner. I'm like probably 19-20% body fat. Currently, I've just started my cut. I am 2.5 pounds down. As of today, I'm 162.4 pounds. And I'm trying to reach 155 pounds at like 13 to 15% body fat by Valentine's Day, just, to look good for my girlfriend, really. So, as you can see here, it's fine, Definitely big, just not lean. So, I just want to be a bit leaner and I'll be pretty happy with this. So, in conclusion, it took me 5 years to make this progress, but it only should have taken me 2 to 3 realistically if I did everything right from the beginning, even with bad genetics. Excuse me. Hopefully, this gives you some inspiration. If you don't have good genetics, you can still make amazing progress in your physique and actually still hit pretty realistic goals. So let me just clarify, this is a realistic and natural journey, unlike most fake naturals on YouTube and also people with elite genetics that are natural making body transformation videos. It does not help you if you're someone like me who has average or below average genetics to watch someone who's a fake natural or someone with elite genetics make a body transformation, because it doesn't help. It's just basically a waste of time. It's content consumption. This video has helped you because you are in a similar position to me and you've seen the progress I've made. And, if you enjoyed this video, then subscribe, like, comment, share. My course is currently on pre-sale. It's a beginner's fitness transformation, and it's in the comments. So if you want to go check that out, then go ahead. It's 50% off right now until the course actually comes out. So that being said, I'll see you next video.